I-V-M.
Hi, I'm Utsav, a behavior researcher by training and a slow traveler by passion. Postcards from Nowhere is a travel podcast where I condense a decade of travel experiences and explore not just the where, but also the why and how to travel. My stories emerged from slow traveling the less explored parts of the world: Bosnia and Herzegovina, Armenia, Uzbekistan, and even China. At the end of each story, I give practical tips and new ideas about how to travel better. This week, I take you to Havana, Buenos Aires, and Paris, and talk of an elegant life principle which has stood the test of time. In 1951, in a house built on a hill 24 kilometers east of Havana, Cuba, sat a young American writer at his desk. He wrote a short novel about a fisherman who lived in the nearby town of Cojimar and worked the waters of Havana. The novel was published in 1951 and went on to become an international success. The writer won a Pulitzer in 1953 and eventually went on to win a Nobel Prize in Literature. The Nobel Committee cited this very novel as contributing to their choice. And so with this novel, Ernest Hemingway had reached the peak of his literary style, coined by him as the iceberg theory. It's a theory which is about a minimalistic way of writing, focusing on surface elements without explicitly discussing underlying themes. He believed that the deeper meaning of a story should not be evident on the surface, but should shine through implicitly. In 1925, a middle-aged theoretical physicist arrived on the shores of Argentina. He was already a luminary in his field, having won the Nobel Prize in 1921. He was, however, in a quest to get more credence for his seminal work, The General Theory of Relativity. Despite having empirical evidence from the observations of a solar eclipse, his theory was yet to be widely accepted. If you think of it, the theory of relativity is one of the most elegant, graceful pieces of theoretical physics, which predicted neutron stars, black holes, and gravitational waves. Today, you could walk down Avenida de Mayo in Buenos Aires and step into Café Tortoni, considered one of the most beautiful cafes in the world. I remember the day I walked in and sat next to Einstein himself. He was a regular visitor to the cafe, and his wax statue sits at a corner table. He often met here with other intellectuals and continued to refine his theories. Sitting in the cafe on a warm summer afternoon, it was hard not to see the charm of the place and feel the joy of sharing space with luminaries such as Einstein and Borges. And finally, in 1863, Edouard Manet, not to be confused with the more famous Monet, painted the Luncheon on the Grass. Here he painted a naked woman staring right at the viewer in a casual, everyday way. She's surrounded by two fully clothed Parisian men with food and picnic baskets around them. Essentially, he presented a contemporary picnic with Renaissance poses. It created a furore in Paris and was rejected in the official art circles. He eschewed the rules of classical realist painting, showcasing an unapologetic naked woman instead of the academic, idealized nude. His work could only be exhibited in Salon des Refusés, or French for exhibition of rejects. His painting, simple on the surface, carried so much layered meaning that it eventually came to be seen as a watershed moment in birthing modern art and transitioning from realism to expressionism. Across 2 centuries, spanning literature, physics, and painting, a single fundamental idea straddles these disparate times and fields. Be it Hemingway's iceberg theory, Einstein's relativity, or Manet's modernism, at the core of all of them lies a deceptively beautiful simplicity. And yet, the profundities wrapped in these simplicities only came to be understood much later. The gift of hindsight we have today is the curse of foresight from yesterday. Einstein did not win the Nobel for relativity, but for a more empirically proven photoelectric effect. Hemingway's books were burned in Berlin in 1933 as being a monument of modern decadence and disavowed by his own parents as filth. As for Manet, he was a reject of the art world, and in 2014, one of his paintings sold for $65 million. Talking of money and Paris, I bring your attention to the Eiffel Tower. When constructed, it was described as a truly tragic street lamp, and additionally, as a half-built factory pipe, a carcass waiting to be fleshed out. I think it would be safe to say that it has outlasted its critics. My decade of travel experiences bring this particular insight to the fore. We are a sum total of our ideas, beliefs, and our creations. Our ideas may or may not be in sync with the times, but that should not stop us from creating a life we deem as fulfilling. History is replete with stories of men, women, societies, and countries which had been banished for standing out. But history has also been kind to them. And what it teaches us is a very elegant principle. The best revenge is to have lived well. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Utsav Memory on Twitter and YVTravel42 on Instagram.
I hope you enjoyed that show. I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money and Intel. Really fun week, and I think that you guys should definitely check out some of the stuff we did. So we had Shifa Mehta, who is the host of the show Smile India, on the Paperback Podcast. Really fun thing. On Edges and Sledges, our hosts had an episode just amongst themselves. No guests this time. Really fun show with lots of cool banter. I think you'll enjoy that quite a bit. On Storytellers and Storysellers, Vineet had Shrishti Bell on. Shrishti is the head of Netflix in India, and I think you'll really enjoy that conversation as well. Also, do check out Uncle Please Sit. Joel and Tushar had Anuya Chatakar on. Anuya hosts the popular YouTube channel Books on Toast. And don't forget others of your old favorites like The Habit Coach, Football Should Ball, All Things Policy. All of them are doing a great job during this pandemic, and you should definitely check them out. And with that, we hope to see you again next week.
Advertising is dead. Yep, you heard me right. Advertising is dead. We're all in the content business now. Let's not call it news, TV, radio, etc., etc. It's all content, and we're in the middle of this weirdly exciting phase where all the borders and lines that have been drawn over decades has been swept away by this lovely thing called the internet. We're a show where we don't dwell on just the stuff that is now, but rather the wider stuff about advertising, media, content, and the whole goddamn circus surrounding it. Tune in every Tuesday for our weekly unboxing of the mystery box we used to call advertising. I'm Varun Dugirala, co-founder and content chief at The Glitch, and this is my new podcast, Advertising is Dead.